7:32 p.m., Wednesday, August 17th.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Karakini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Not present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Supervisor Keating, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item under preliminary matters tonight is the opening prayer. Thank you very much.
Pastor Ted Brailsford at Faith United Church right down the street. I ask you to join me in an attitude of prayer. Holy God of our fathers and mothers and children of all generations, we're grateful for this town of Boston, New York, even as we are mindful also of communities everywhere, especially those who struggle and face great hardships, those who deal with tragedies. We celebrate and give thanks for the gifts and resources and good people of goodwill who live and work here in our community. We pray especially for those who serve the public good, those who respond to fires and all manners of emergencies. We pray for those who uphold and enforce our laws and our codes, and for those who plan for the needs and the common good of those who work who carry out to keep the common good in our community. We pray you send your blessings of courage and grace on all of these, and especially now on this body this evening, this town board, and these community members gathered. In the deliberations of their work, we pray for goodwill, wisdom, and discernment. May there be a spirit of cooperation and a creative spirit of hope and inspiration as they do what needs to be done, attend to the needs and concerns of our community and in each of their lives as well. May the work of this board enrich and be a blessing to this town and to the members of this board tonight and always. May it be so. Amen.
Okay, tonight under preliminary matters, we have no other preliminary matters, so we'll move on to item number 2, regular business. The first item of regular business is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the July 20th, 2022 town board meeting. And Councilwoman Sully, will take that item tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. After reviewing the minutes of July 20th, I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes. I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
I'm going to abstain as I was not present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 2 tonight under regular business is the consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Cardini, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I had the opportunity to review the fund bills, and I make a motion that we pay them in the amount of $443,158.72.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 tonight is our correspondence. We have quite a few pieces of correspondence tonight. The first item is the dog control officer report for the July 2022 dog control officer report, and that's been received and filed with the town clerk's office. Item 2 is the town clerk's report for July 2022. Item 3 is the July 2022 income statement. Item number 4 is the letter from the Boston Library. Item 5 is a dispatch report for Boston Emergency Squad from January 2022 through June 2022. Items 6, 7, and 8 are all 3 fire company reports from dispatch, again, also from January through June 2022. Item 9, 10, and 11, lumping these together because they're all essentially the same. The PenFlex LoSAP, which is their Service at War Point program. There's a cover letter, the annual report, and executive summary, also received and filed with the town clerk. Item 12 is the project schedule for the North Boston Pavilion project. Item 13 is the New York State Agricultural Markets Municipal Shelter Inspection Report dated July 29th, 2022. And item number 14 is a MOU or Memo of Understanding Termination, a letter from the Boston Emergency Squad between the Boston Emergency Squad and Patchen Fire Company. Again, all those have been received and filed with the town clerk's office. Item number 4 is new business tonight. So item number 1 is request from the floor. It is a 3-minute time limit per person. If anyone would like to come up and speak to any items on the town, please state your name, address, and again, it's 3 minutes per person. Thank you.
Here?
Yes, please, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Maureen McCready. I live on Old Lower East Hill Road, and I've only lived in the town of Boston for 10 years, so I feel like a newcomer. I'm here to talk about my concern about these garbage totes. My driveway is about 500 feet long. It's either an incline or a decline, depending on which way you're going. But I am physically not able to pull garbage cans up that driveway. And my husband used to do it before he died. So I devised a system where I put my little garbage can in the boot of my Jeep, and I drive it up to the road, unload it, and then the next day load the empty can and take it down. I don't know what I'm going to do. I ordered a smaller tote than what was delivered to my residence, but I think it's still going to be too big for me to be able to do that. These totes are very, very heavy. So I'm just wondering, what's the plan? Am I to leave those 2 ugly, huge cans out near the road, and then still have to drive up bags of garbage to put it in there? Or am I supposed to build a shelter somewhere near the front, maybe a $10,000 nice little shelter to put these cans in? I mean, I'm just wondering what the board was thinking, why we didn't have any public opportunity for input. I can't be the only one who is physically unable to handle these cans. And I'm wondering, what's the answer? Do I have to pay somebody to come and take my garbage in and out? I would just assume pay more tax. And of course, we do have those $3 stickers, which is going to add to the cost Who gets that? for extra garbage. But any suggestions as to what a disabled person can do?
So I'm jotting down the information. We have quite a few people here tonight. So at least what we've discussed as a board downstairs, and again, being respectful of everyone's time. So I'm going to jot all these down, and since the open floor is technically not designed to be a back and forth, but I'd be happy to answer your questions for you. And so if the board is okay with
The
this.
question is,
Yes.
did the board have a plan for people who have very long driveways or are disabled?
Well, as far as there's a couple options in this case. And again, I want to be respectful of everybody's time, not try to break the form here, but as far as the long driveways, that was something that was talked about. This has actually been talked about for truthfully more than 7 years, even back when I was a town councilman before I became supervisor. This was truthfully, it was all cost related. Modern waste management, most of the large companies now have gone towards automation. And that was all the bids for this process are sealed bids. They went out, and Waste Management has been the only hauler here in Boston for many years, as most of us know that have lived here. And they would not do what's called an extension. Let me think about this, make sure I give you the accurate information. So you're going back roughly 6 years ago, there was extensions built into the contract. I might as well take the time and explain this because it might answer a lot of questions for folks here in the audience tonight. It's called a contract extension. All of the bids go out. The town board works on the bids and what is actually in that bid and what the recipient, being either Waste Management, Modern, whoever, because it goes out. There's public notice posted on the papers. It's sent out. Sealed bids come back in, and then the dollar amount is provided to the town board, whoever sits in these 5 chairs. Then from there, based off of the options, and think of like if you were to go talk to 3 different contractors to put a new roof on your house, You kind of get the specifications, you say, I want a new roof, maybe new gutters, based off those options. Those 3 different vendors will provide you a dollar amount for that service, if you will. The alternates that were built in, so the last contract, Waste Management would not do an extension. We had to go out to bid. We went out to bid. Modern was the only entity that responded back to the town board at the time and said that they respectfully declined to bid because the town board, or the town of Boston, was not using automation. Casella and other carriers did not bid. They didn't even send a letter back to us. So Waste Management essentially was the only bid for solid waste collection. That's how we got to what we were at, just up until recently. In that bid, there's alternates built in. I've actually, when I was a councilman, and even still currently, I sit on the NEST, which is the Northeast South Towns Waste Management Board. I'm actually the treasurer for them. We sit down with Erie County, work with other supervisors and mayors all across the county for these exact topics that you express, and I'm guessing some other folks here tonight are probably going to bring up. With that being said, automation is becoming an industry standard. I feel awful saying it's not an option, but essentially if you have solid waste collection, most haulers are basically saying if you use our service, it will be a cart. There are 2 cart sizes. There's the large carts, which was what rolled up to the overall size decision for the cart was based off of the way the contract language was written even way before me, because of the multiple cans that were originally accepted for the town of Boston. That then rolled up to the 96-gallon cart as an alternate on a case-by-case basis. Waste Management had agreed to a potential smaller cart. And then the town clerk and my office and town board members, we've been working with residents. This week, we started rolling those out to people who have reached out to us. For those of you hearing it for the first time tonight, here's your opportunity tonight to possibly.
I ordered one.
Okay. And so those are the 2 sizes. I have been asked, again, so everyone hears, I asked if there was a 3rd size option, something even smaller. Let's say for your situation, and I'll be honest, I've spoken to 3 other people, they're getting smaller carts. There's not a smaller cart option. There's 2 sizes, and again, it's just kind of an industry standard. Whether you get Casella, Waste Management, or even Modern, there's 2 different sizes. And the reason being that they got the industry has gotten away from that smaller cart size. It was out there before. Some of them do still exist. If you're driving through other communities, you may see a smaller cart. But that smaller cart is not an option for any municipality. And the reason being is that the arm that picks up the new carts, truth be told, they're not staying on the arm. They're actually flying into the back of the truck. I don't mean to chuckle, but that's what's happening. At least that's what I've been told. So with that being said, those are the 2 options. We are aware, and I just told the town board downstairs, even for me, my wife and daughter, I know the trash. The guy that hauls the can up and down, I have a long driveway also on about a 6.5%, 7% grade. And I don't disagree, but we didn't, at least as a town board, now going into the dollars and cents of this, so, to answer your question regarding if you wanted to pay more. The solid waste contract is part of that overall budget for the town of Boston. As a town board, we try to stay under that 2% tax cap, which we always have. And with that being said, the solid waste management cost, what we were looking at is roughly between a 15 and 18% cost to the taxpayer. So that would have pushed us up and around $300 per parcel, and that would have pushed us, just with solid waste, closer to that 2% tax cap. And that's not a raise for town staff, that's not roads, that's not utilities that have gone up, and all the other factors that we have to take into account to balance the budget. So that being said, the town board made a decision to exercise the option that was on the contract to go with totes. With that option, we got it down to roughly a 5% increase this year and the following years in this 3-year contract. The other thing that this does bring in, again, I know it's not the ideal situation, we're well aware of that, we knew that this would certainly be met with some concern, is that now that Town of Boston is using carts, hopefully we will get competition, because again, Waste Management was the only hauler that was coming in. I don't have a crystal ball, I don't know what's going to happen in 2.5, 3 years from now when that goes back out to bid. Hopefully Modern or someone else will come in to bid and try to keep that cost for solid waste collection low. As far as the options that are available, I hear your concern. I guess it's just a matter of trying to come up with what's feasible. The current, to answer your question regarding leaving carts at the road, the current town code is written, I don't know the actual verbatim off the top of my head, but it is written that the solid waste cart should be removed from the roadside at the end of your collection day, correct?
Right.
So with that being said, we are taking, as a town board, we're looking at potentially, do we change that code where somebody does have a hedgerow or something and decides to leave it closer to the road, is that permissible? But if it's off the right of way and it's not in the line, sight line of traffic. But that, those are all the things that have been discussed actually for quite some time, even back when that first contract came out. I guess I'll say this is kind of, I don't want to say it was inevitable, but it's just a matter of time before we went down the path of carts. Wyoming County is actually, I'm not trying to defer, but Wyoming County is going through some of these struggles also. They just went out to bid, and they also just went with carts. And from some colleagues, supervisors in that area, they're going through some of the same conversations right now for some of those other longer roads or paper railroads. So I wish I had a good answer right at the moment, but I'm certainly willing to talk to you or try to come up with some kind of resolve for this. But the totes, sadly, unless the industry changes,
As long as the board knows that whatever problem was being solved by this decision, it's now created problems for us residents.
that has been duly noted. Thank you.
I'm Mitchell Johnson. I live at 7115 Winfield Road. Right at the top of the hill. Now, you people know what kind of snow we get up on the hill, okay? I'm just curious. Usually I drive my garbage out, okay? Because I'm gonna have to snow blow my driveway every time I wanna take these totes out. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't understand either why this wasn't brought up at a meeting for the people, you know what I mean, before you guys made any decisions. I don't understand that should have went in front of the people, let the people know about this before anything was made, any decisions were made.
Fair enough. So this was talked about at town board meetings, was talked about in work sessions out on the website during that. So again, the contracts are all a matter of public record. They have to be posted in the paper, and that contract was out there. As far as additional communication, there was a mailer that was sent out with the tax. Correct me if I'm wrong.
When was that?
We did. This was 3 years ago during the last contract, because we had to go out to bid for the contract. And we had a can that was out there with that contract, which had the extension language all in there. And we did have a can here at the town hall for residents to see that.
Right. I'm just looking at all the people up in the hills, you know what I mean? It's a different story. The winter in the valley is way different than the winter up in the hills, okay? And this is, we should have been offered something different, you know what I mean? Even if it was paying for your own, you know what I mean, paying for your own thing like the other towns do, you know what I mean? So, but we should have been offered something before this decision was made, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden we get the waste management thing in the mail, and it's like, I can't, I'm not leaving these outside. I can't leave them outside with the wind that comes across the top of the hill all the time. I don't want two garbage cans sitting in front of my house either, okay? I'm sorry, I keep a nice house, I can't fit them in the garage because it creates a problem. They're very big, even the smaller totes. And the other thing is too, we were allowed 5 garbage cans, okay? How many garbage cans can you actually fit inside that tote? I don't think 5.
I will agree that it is not a total of 5, it's roughly 4. And if you look at the total legal liters, or the cubic volume,
Yeah.
it's roughly about 4 1/4 to 4 1/2. That is a true statement. Based off the way the contract was, even, again, way before my time, the way that was written, that was the largest. If we're going to try to compare apples to apples as far as total cubic volume of trash, the 96 gallon was the largest, which technically spurred that conversation of what size. Do we go with something smaller and have potential conversation with the public of, I'm not getting as much. Those conversations were also had.
I just, it's wrong that this was not brought up, and I understand 3 years ago, okay, that's, okay, whatever. But I'm just saying is that should have been brought up more recently rather than 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying, that was going out to bid or whatever, so. That's all I got to say. There's a lot of people aggravated with this whole thing, a lot of people, so, I don't know what we've done about it, probably not, you know what I mean, so. But anyway.
You guys knew you were gonna see me tonight, right? You all know me very well. Shane Quinlan lives at 6700 Liebler with 9 other residents pretty much at the same address, so 18 totes down there is gonna be pretty hard. There's no shoulder, makes it real hard, so I'm gonna keep pushing on you guys to make provisions and to get waste management to come down the road. This letter that they sent back to us, that they can't get through the first pole, and that's 14 feet wide. Don't write me a letter like that and put it in writing, that's garbage. I know they go on other private property in this town. I know they go down Shunk Drive, which is not even a town road, I know they do. So I'm gonna keep pressing them to come in. The reason being, a lot of people don't understand, a lot of people can see, even the 5 of you probably, including Jen, probably all love the totes. A lot of you have blacktop driveways, a lot of you are 50, 70, 100 feet from the road. It makes it very convenient. Waste Management actually has been a very good company for, 30 years garbage pickup's great. You can put big items out, you can put a lot of garbage out. That tote at 96 gallons is gonna hold a lot of garbage, but it is a big inconvenience when my first neighbor is 550 feet in. My second neighbor is 700. I'm at over 800 feet. I have 850 feet of water line from Liebler Road. It's mine to my house, very expensive to put in. Yes, I chose to live there. I've dealt with a lot of extra hoops, you might say, that I had to jump through to live there. I have to go get my mail 1,000 feet away, but FedEx comes back down our road. Even Amazon finds a way to come down and find us, and they're got to be one of the worst. Amazon, FedEx. My fourth neighbor is 870 feet in. My fifth neighbor is 1,150 feet in. My mom and dad are at 1,500 feet. People across from them are a little down, 1,400 feet. The one up above them is 1,880 feet. And the last cabin at the top, 2,000 feet from the road. Realistic? No. So I think when I paid my taxes on the 1st through the 31st of the year, I paid them on March 15th, $255. And my garbage has been picked up the same way for 30 years, or maybe 50 years, because my parents been there since the 70s, paying garbage on their tax bill. That's some sort of a breach right there. So whatever Waste Management push, they still have to make provisions. You can't make changes the way something's been done for 50 or 30 years. And when the 5 of you sat on that board in the beginning, garbage was $1.98. That was $4 for my mom and dad to bring that little bag down, 13 gallons, set it in her front seat, bring it down to me, I can take it down, she can put it by the edge of the road, she can't wheel a 96 gallon tote down 1,500 feet. I don't know what it is about the day of plastic. When we moved up there, everyone had wood on their houses. Boston had a lot of agriculture, a lot of cornfields, it was brick or wood, and now everybody loves plastic houses, plastic mailboxes. I think plastic totes are lovely. I drove through the village today and watched the garbage truck load with 2 guys, left and right on the side of the street, and 1 guy driving. Somewhere along the line, Waste Management thought it was a good idea for 1 guy to pull up on Liebler about 20 years ago, cross the end of my road, pitch like this, blocking the end of my road, to throw 9 people's garbage in the back. I get out sometimes when I'm there at 6:30, help them, throw a few bags in, then I can get out. Unmanned vehicle sitting on a hill like this leaves about 9 feet for a car to come down the hill. It's 21 foot wide. You know how wide a garbage truck is. It's not 14 feet wide, but it takes up more than 10 feet. I'm going to keep going because I've never spoken at a meeting. I've been to like more meetings than any
Respectfully,
of
we
you,
have a room
so
full of people. Mr.
I'm going to
President.
keep talking. You can stop me or you can throw me out. But let me finish a few more thoughts because I'm not done. Because you guys are going to make provisions for the people. It's not just a few. It's a lot of people. Probably 8% love it, and there's a big group out there that don't love it. And you got to find a way to muscle Waste Management to make provisions. Waste Management is a $72 billion market cap company. They're in 19 states, including 2 provinces in Canada. McDonald's is only a little more than double, and they're worldwide. Don't let them strong arm you. You guys make the decisions for us. Push back a little. I know they're a good company, but make them come in my road. Here's another thing. For all the years the people who live far off the road, they throw their brush in the woods, in their backyard. Year after year, I hear about 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand brush pickup. I've never used it. My parents never used it. A lot of people don't use it. Yet a small part of my taxes probably goes into that. So if my garbage went from $4 when you guys started on board a week to $235 a year to $255, it already went up over $5. It already went up, what is that, under $4 to over $5, just the amount of time you've been sitting. And if a small few dollars goes to brush pickup, I know you guys absorbed the last increase, so we didn't see tax caps. I don't want to hear tax cap excuses and muscled into this contract. There's a couple other companies out there. 3 years, don't be afraid to reach out to Moore Road, or if I have to come and get my garbage now. At year end, you can just take it off. You know, there's probably a lot of people that would say, all right, Moore Road Construction, come in, pick up the 40 of us. I know you say it's an all or nothing, but that was something that was written in a lot of years ago. That was when people used to throw stuff into the ravines in these valleys like 50 years ago. So it was everybody, garbage. And that was a culture that had to be stopped. And I don't think people throw stuff in the ravines anymore. There's other ways to get your garbage picked up. There's modern, so please be open-minded on the next contract. I know it's probably 3 years, and push back on waste management. Get them to make provisions for the people that are going to have difficulties. There's still ways that this can be. I think all of you do a great job on the board, by the way. I think we all have capabilities for coming and actually looking at our situation, and we all do a good job of representing 90% of the time. This is one of the times where I think it's probably hard for you to see that there's a big inconvenience for a lot of elderly, disabled, and there's a lot of people that want. And I think the look. I think if I really wanted coats, I would have lived in the village. I would have paid an extra village tax. I would have went to Eastern. I came out here because I want to see a bunch of class. I don't like driving by 3 gals and see 6 totes sitting. I think it's crazy. But I think I'd just like to encourage other people to speak their mind. Don't be afraid to tell them what you think. And I've been the one recording the meetings for the past 8 years. You can see any of them for the past 8 years on Boston AshNY. I'll post it every meeting. This used to be much fuller boardrooms, and since I've been recording, it's been a very quiet boardroom for a long time. It's been a good board, and just because I expressed some things of dissatisfaction, but I still think you guys are a great team up there. Thank you.
Steve?
Tricia Maxwell, 7673 Back Creek Road. I just have a question. I think there's a lot of uncertainty and information that people I've talked to that didn't get. I heard about it out on the street, that this is what was coming our way. My question for you is, if you can answer it, where does the $3 go for any extra garbage that we have to put out? I'm a single person in one home. I'll never fill that can up, but I have things that will not fit in that can. And I could come down here and pay $3 for every piece I have to throw out. What is the bulk? I mean, we did get information from them, but all they did was tell us what they're picking up on Tuesdays and what would happen if it was a holiday. No information about that $3 charge. No information about what bulk days we get. So that's, I think, disclosure to the taxpayers would be very helpful in this situation. Thank you.
Sure. I'll be happy to answer that, Ms. Maxwell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Key.
I was waiting
Oh,
for him
yes,
to answer. Were you waiting to
Good,
answer?
you?
Oh.
My question is about the garbage. I'm sorry, Ardell Road, 6741 Wheeler Road, up on the hill, where it's pretty tough for those people to get garbage.
I know the gentleman that's run it for years. He's on compensation because he got hurt. But that's neither here nor there. What my question is, bulk. Are they gonna have a bulk day out of the year or a couple of number of days for bulk garbage?
Yep. Yes. Actually, it's not a day. You can, I'll answer it right now. So bulk pickup, sorry, bulk pickup is now, it's three items per month. Before it was before it was once a week. Looking at historic trends, what's going into the trucks, and basically the data that Waste Management collected. The new contract, you call a number, and then you can have it picked up at your convenience. So say, for example, you buy the new fridge, you buy the new couch, you buy the new dresser. You call an 800 number at the Waste Management Customer Service, it's not handled through your town clerk's office. You call the 800 number, and very similar to, if you haven't, for the folks in the room, if you haven't heard about the Waste Management at your door service, that's household hazardous waste and e-waste, very similar process. You call the 800 number, and let's say you go to buy the couch that one night, you could get home, you could be on the road, you could be at work, wherever, at your convenience, you call the 800 number, they'll give you a date to have that out curbside, and away it goes. Part of that decision, I know I've also received some concern and complaints about this as well. That was feedback actually from the taxpayer. The taxpayers didn't like the fact that if they put something out, if it didn't fit in the back of the truck, because it might be that really big bulk item, a large mattress, or which in the wintertime, the highway department, and nothing against the highway department, but their job is to plow the roads. That snow goes on top of the mattress, becomes heavy, wet, buried in the snowbank, at which point Waste Management or no other hauler will pick that up. So to mitigate that problem is set up an 800 number, call Waste Management, and at which point they will give you a date and time. Let's say if it's August 17th, and you happen to put that out on that day, by the time you get home from work, it's gone. And that was really for feedback from the public, trying to work with Waste Management to create a resolve for that situation.
Good question, thank you.
You're welcome.
Supervisor Keating, could I just add some information?
Sure.
For Mr. Rolls and Ms. Maxwell, there are the pamphlets that Waste Management did mail out to every resident. That information is inside of that pamphlet, and for either of you or anyone here that would like another one, we do have some of those from Waste Management that have been provided.
That's my fault, and I didn't read it all well, so I apologize for that.
No, it
But
doesn't.
I'm thinking about it larger. Now, I did utilize them when I had a microwave I had to get rid of, and fortunately, they were doing somebody else and they took mine too. So I'm aware of that, but there's things that I'm gonna have at home that I'm gonna have to get rid of. The only way I know is to cut them up, and that's gonna be a chore.
Absolutely, we have pamphlets available.
Okay, thank you.
The $3 thing?
Sure, I'll answer that. Yeah, and actually, Mr. Rolls brings up a good point. When it comes to AKA white goods, as it's discussed in the world of solid waste, white goods is your refrigerators, your air conditioners, and other products like that. Another reason for that 800 number is because a lot of times Waste Management will go curbside, they'll go up to an appliance, and the Freon had not been removed from it. Then the resident is now calling respectfully the town clerk's office saying, you know, why in God's green earth did they not pick that up? Did you remove the Freon? No. New York State DEC regulations clearly state it needs to be removed by a licensed contractor. What scrappers and others do in their own time in their business, that's their business. When it comes to Waste Management, they are subject to all DEC regulations. So if Jason Keating buys in a refrigerator, I decide to not pay the $50 for whoever to haul that away, and I put it out curbside, when I call the 800 number, they're gonna ask me, has it been removed by a licensed plumber? And if the answer to that is yes, they will schedule a date and time. If not, they'll say, please call back once that's done, and then they'll pick it up. So there's kind of the ebb and flow of the communication when it comes to white goods or those types of things. The $3 fee, it is not, there is a misunderstanding, and I apologize, I don't know how this came about, but the $3 per bag fee is not for every bag that's inside your can. If it fits inside your can and the lid closes, it goes. That's part of your solid waste tax that you pay, part of the tax district. So the entire town of Boston is part of the taxable district. Then, if let's say it's the holidays, we have the holidays upcoming. You have a party at your house. You have the kids over, and you have all this extra wrapping paper. It's a lot, in my opinion, it's a lot of trash. But some people have actually requested 2 of these large monster trash carts. If that cart is full and you have an extra bag, if you ever exceeded a waste limit, Waste Management would leave it. True story. we tried to work with, again, resident feedback. What's the solution? $3 fee. So technically, if you use it, you pay the extra $3. You're paying for what you use. And if you really want to, you really break it down to semantics, the taxpayer shouldn't be subsidizing somebody who decides to put a ton of trash at the curb. That's not fair to all of us as a taxpayer. You should be paying for, your fair share of taxes. That's the way the laws are written. So if you're paying for that cart, if it's full and you need one extra bag, if you don't want to hold it until the next week and put it in the cart next week if you think it'll fit, then pay $3 and away it goes. That's that cost. And basically that fee goes and covers the cost of that bag, or the collection for that bag.
How do you know to get a bill for that?
To get a bill, you have, for the stickers, you have to come to the town clerk's office.
I know, but how do you know that you gave us a sticker, then you send the $3 to Waste Management?
Because the town clerk's office has an inventory of all the stickers.
Right, all fees that are collected, the resident receives a receipt.
So does Waste Management then tell you we collected 100 extra bags today? So how do you know?
Truthfully, we haven't seen it. I don't have that answer right now. It's a great question, but whatever we were told, it would show up on our, you said it would show up on our bill. I don't know how, truthfully, I have not seen a bill yet. So I don't know how that shows up, but we were told that yes, that would show up as a bill, because as the town clerk stated, when she receives monies, the legal formal process is she turns that money over to the supervisor, whoever sits in this position. They turn that over to the supervisor's office, and then that goes as part of the waste collection fees that then pays the bill.
Did you get a bill from Waste Management that says we collected 100 extra pieces this week?
No, Waste Management provides those stickers. They're sold from my office for $3 a piece. That is in my town clerk's report. Like Supervisor Lee said, that is turned over to the supervisor's office. And the way that it is coded in my report, then the bookkeeper would know exactly how many tickets have been sold.
I get it, but where does the $3 go?
So I'm sorry, I just explained because I was in that office. We do get a monthly bill from Waste Management, and it would be itemized how many stickers were sold on there. Ideally, those stickers should match up with Sandy's report, and it should match up.
That's what I wanted to know. And so if it's an item that doesn't fit in that, even though they're humongous bins, and I want to put it out on the street, out on the side, like I always could, I have to come down, pay $3 to put that broken bed frame out there.
No, I will give you a pamphlet after the meeting, so you
Thank you.
can see that would be a bulk item, and you would call Waste Management directly for that.
I really do read my mail. I never saw this. Knew nothing about it.
There should have also been, in the lid of each and every can, there should.
Yes, all it says is what day they're coming,
Right.
and on the back it says what day are blue for holidays, will be there the next day after that. Doesn't say anything about the bulk, the $3.
It wasn't a
the extra bag.
tri-fold document?
It was.
No.
But it doesn't say that.
It was a one-sheet document that had the days that the garbage pickup, and the backside had something else on it that had nothing about
We didn't get that.
information for bulk pickup or anything.
We didn't
Well,
get
it
that.
wasn't included, trust me, it wasn't included, I do read things.
Well, there's
It's
a.
two-sided, one day is the
Everybody got
schedule
one.
of what days they pick up for your street,
Right.
all the streets.
Correct.
The second side was a calendar,
Mhm.
when they were starting, and when it would be after a holiday, it was marked in blue, that'll be the day they pick up.
Right, there you go. So there should have been two documents to every parcel. One would have gone through mail, the other would have been in the lid of the can.
Yeah, the little can has nothing in it, and I'm telling you, I never saw anything in
Okay?
it. Just so we
No,
know.
that's good feedback. No,
Okay?
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Brian Burns, 6556 Chestnut Lane. Am I reading it right that you need to put your garbage in a plastic bag and then put it inside the recycling bin, the garbage bin?
Yes.
That's what I read? So if we're trying to recycle, why are we putting garbage in plastic bags and then putting them in plastic bins? I don't understand the philosophy unless maybe they're just afraid the stuff's gonna fly out when they put it in the machine. But it seems to me like that's a double dose of plastic. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
It came
never
in mail,
saw
it
it.
was not in our can. You said it was in the can, it's not in our can.
Well, one you would have received in the mail, one you would have received in the can. So there's two separate notifications that should have gone out. Again, I am not sure, but I've taken my notes and I'll follow up with Waste Management. Anyone else? Okay. we'll close the floor. All right. On new business, item number 2 is Resolution 2022-55, which is authorizing the primary and general election polling place lease agreements. And Councilman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Well, Supervisor, the Erie County Board of Elections requested the use of the Boston Town Hall for both the primary elections on June 28th and August 23rd, and then, of course, the general election November 8th. They've offered the town $100 per election to lease the required space, so I make a motion that the town of Boston authorize the supervisor to sign this lease agreement in exchange for a payment totaling $300.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 tonight under new business is Resolution 2022-56, replacement of gutters around the town hall. And Councilwoman Sully, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 22-56. Whereas the town hall, we received 3 quotes from 3 different vendors, and we'd like to make the award to All Pro Gutters in the amount of $4,350 for the replacement of the gutters around the town hall.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 4 is Resolution 2022-57, payment of pavilion drainage invoice for the repair of damage to the guardrail on Rice Road. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion to pass Resolution 2022-57, which is the payment of pavilion drainage invoice for the repair damage to the guide rail on Rice Road. The town highway department submitted a claim for the damages to the insurance company for the at-fault driver, recovered the amount of $5,278.82, and pavilion drainage supply was hired to complete the required repairs, and the total for that was $5,197.32. So I make the motion to pass Resolution 2022-57 to resolve payment with pavilion drainage.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 5 under new business is the Resolution 2022-58, which is a change order to the original contract and short form agreement for completion of Boston State Road water main replacement project. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Sure. Resolution number 2022-58. The town of Boston awarded a bid to the New Frontier Excavating and Paving for the replacement of the section of the 12-inch water main on Boston State Road between Meadow and Ripple. This change order is actually a deduction of $18,151.23 from the original contract price. So I make a motion to execute this change order, number 1, with New Frontier Excavating and Paving.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 6 tonight is Resolution 2022-59, authorizing execution of agreement with the Department of State for Smart Growth Comprehensive Plan Grant. And Councilwoman Sully, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-59, whereas the town of Boston was awarded Department of State Smart Growth Comprehensive Plan and the grant of amount of $63,000 to update our comprehensive plan. The town also secured $25,000 grant for this project, and where we will be including a local match for this grant of $7,000. So I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-59.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 7 tonight under new business is Resolution 2022-60, declaring certain highway department equipment surplus and authorizing disposal through auction. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion to pass Resolution number 2022-60, declaring certain highway department equipment surplus and authorizing disposal through auction. The list of equipment is a 1999 International dump truck, a Miller drag paver, grade all straight blade attachment, modern implement York rake, 4-foot 3-point hitch, modern implement York rake, 4-foot 3-point hitch, and a lawn roller, 4-foot. So the motion's on the table.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 8 tonight under new business is Resolution 2022-61, which is engineering services for Phase 1 of the Town of Boston Water Main Replacement Project. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-61, where we are developing a plan for a water main replacement to improve quality and reliable water. And we'd like to have Phase 1 of the water main replacing approximately 10,770 linear feet of water main in Water District 1, where Clark Patterson Lee as town engineers are presented with a proposal to perform professional engineering services in the amount of $355,000. And I would like to make this motion to appoint them as our engineer.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I will add on that resolution that since we have it's actually really nice and truthfully to see a lot of public here at a town board meeting. If you're interested in a water main, water projects, there is a town website page dedicated to water project for the replacement. We've been talking about it in the budgets, it's part of the budget presentation, but the lines, the areas, the linear feet, and all the recommendations from the Erie County Water Authority, that's all out there for public viewing. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to call my office on that. Because we'll be talking about water for quite a few years going forward as we move forward on this. Item 9, schedule a public hearing for the local law providing a waiver of site plan review for certain minor projects. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, Supervisor. There's a notice of public hearing that shall be held by the town board of the town of Boston on September 21st, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, to hear any and all persons either for or against 2022 local law intro number 1 entitled A Local Law Providing for Waiver of Site Plan Review for Certain Minor Projects. This local law provides a mechanism for the waiver of formal site plan review and its attendant costs and delays for certain minor projects where formal site plan review is not practical or necessary to ensure safe and orderly development. Copies of this proposed law, sponsored by Councilmember Lukacek, are on file in the town clerk's office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I make a motion to post this notice of public hearing.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 10 is to schedule another public hearing for a local law eliminating the zoning provisions requiring the town board approval to erect more than one accessory building per lot. And Councilman Carnegie, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. This is a notice of public hearing. A public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Boston on September 21st, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, to hear any and all persons either for or against 2022 local law intro number 2 entitled A Local Law Eliminating Zoning Provisions Requiring Town Board Approval to Erect More Than One Accessory Building per Lot. This local law eliminates zoning law provisions requiring town board approval to erect more than one accessory building per lot, as other existing town code provisions adequately regulate accessory structures. Copies of the proposed law, sponsored by Councilmember Lukacek, are on file in the town clerk's office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I make a motion that we post this public hearing.
I'll make a second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carnegie?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 11 under new business tonight is approval for Jillian Pritchard and Keith Heary, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, to begin duty as Boston Volunteer Fire Company firefighters. Councilman Carnegie, as liaison, I'll pass that back to you.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. The town board received a letter from the Boston Fire Company Members of the town board, at the regular meeting of the Boston Fire Company on July 6, 2022, we accepted by vote of secret ballot Jillian Pitcher and Keith Heary to active membership. Please see their attached application and arson sex offender background check, of which there were no findings of any records or convictions. Signed, Chris Kiefaber, Boston 9. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Jillian Pitcher and Keith Heary to begin active membership with the Boston Fire Company.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carter-Keeney?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item 12 tonight under new business is an application for use of the meeting facility for the Erie County Board of Elections. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor. The Erie County Board of Elections is asking to use the town hall community room without the kitchen. Let me see, is there a date on here? Oh, he's got it. So it's the Erie County Board of Elections scheduled for voting, of course. So there's multiple dates. Are all these dates available?
Yes, they are.
So I make a motion to accept this application for town meeting facility.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carter-Keeney?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 13 under new business is the application for use of meeting facility for the South Towns homeschoolers. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We received an application for use of town meeting facilities from the South Towns homeschoolers. Amanda Kessler is going to have a presentation on October 1st at 11 o'clock in the morning, approximately 50 people for the town hall community room without the kitchen. And I assume this meeting is, this date is available,
Yes, it is.
and I'd like to make a motion to approve this application.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carter-Keeney?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that is it for new business. Moving on to old business, there's one item for old business, which is Resolution 2022-54 for Climate Smart Communities Pledge. Would anyone like to make a motion to table that item tonight?
I'll make a motion to table the Climate Smart Communities Pledge.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Carter-Keeney?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried, resolutions tabled.
All right, now that is it for our business for tonight. We're moving on to reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Fall brush pickup starts September 1st. Every road in town will be done once in September, and then we'll start again in October. Every road will be done once in October. The guys been out mowing shoulders. They've been out cutting down dead trees and hazardous trees along the right of way, dead ash trees and stuff that are hanging over the road, so they've been working on that. And then also been out doing some ditching and drainage work, but that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. First, I'd like to commend our dog control officer, Linda Sherry. I was reviewing her reports, and I've never, in my whole time being with the town, my prior job even, have I seen a dog report so thorough with such details. And I feel like I know everything about every single dog in this town, so it's really wonderful and refreshing to have, and very nice penmanship also. So I'd like to say that kudos to Linda. I hear she's doing a fantastic job, and we're very lucky to have her. On a note with the waste management, I feel for you people. I'm sorry there's so many people that are having difficulties. I've been to a couple meetings this past week on Liebler Road where Shane is, as well as Butternut. And thanks to Bob, I think we may have a resolution for Butternut. He's offered to widen the turnaround, so hopefully we can get something done over on your end at Liebler Road. I can't promise anything, but we're gonna push. We'll push, Shane, for sure. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Carter-Keeney, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to thank the residents for coming out, expressing your concerns. It's always great to hear from residents. I will say that I was one of the people who really stood in front of these cans. It's been a subject that's been up every time we've discussed waste management. And my primary concern of that was the bulk collection sites and the senior citizens and how we were going to address those. And to speak directly to Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Martino is our contact from Waste Management. Prior to us passing the resolution to enter into the contract with the automation, I was assured that there would be meetings set up with the bulk collection site areas and that we would resolve those issues so that they weren't going to be an eyesore, they weren't going to be a safety issue, and I can assure you that I'll be following up with Mr. Martino tomorrow. So, in regard to how we get to this point and where it is, you know, there's only a couple ways to deal with, you know, garbage. You know, you can have a transfer station and you can pay a fee to bring your garbage down to a transfer station, or you can contract with a company to do it. I would prefer to contract with a company to do it rather than take my own garbage down to a transfer station. So it reaches a point in 2022 where the town of Boston was one of the last communities that, you know, still had bag pickup and, you know, anybody could put out any type of container. And we've been able to resist that for a long period of time. But citing the cost of fuel and personnel, I mean, we've all lived through the pandemic over here, so we know that people aren't, you know, going to work every day. There's less people that are willing to take jobs, there's less people willing to go to work. And it is a situation where you try to make the best decision that you can for the town when you're making a decision for the town. And I wanted you to all know and hear it directly from me that there was a lot of debate and discussion over this, and it goes back not just 6 months, it goes back, you know, 3-4 years. And, you know, I'm being upfront and saying, hey, you know, the bulk pickup locations and the senior citizens were my biggest concern. And when we got the option for the smaller tote, you know, that's a great option to have for people. And we look forward to more feedback on it. And if there's anything that we can personally do to help facilitate a better program, you know, obviously we're open to it. And I would like to take a moment to thank the town clerk and her office and staff, because they fielded a lot of calls regarding this, and you know, it takes a lot of time out of their day, but we're grateful to have such a great staff in the clerk's office that is able to field the calls and talk to people about it and listen to their concerns. And Sandy, I'd like to personally thank you and your staff for all the extra work and the time that it really takes. I mean, we knew that this wasn't going to be easy, but unfortunately, it's your hand gets forced eventually, and that's part of what happened. And the best thing we can do is continue to try to work to address the areas that need addressed. And you have my word that I'll work to that end. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
And I'm the last one, and I'm just going to echo what Kathy and Mike have said. Thank you all for coming out and voicing your opinions. And to speak to what Mike said, it truly was a struggle for each one of us that fills these seats. We all did struggle with, we do know that there's people with steep graded driveways. We know that our community is largely older people. We're not a very young community. So, and we all have parents that we think about. My mom struggles. She's in West Seneca and her driveway is only 10 feet long and her tote is just as big and she has just as much trouble just that distance. So we did take all that into account. It was a very difficult discussion and decision for us to make, but we had to make the jump because, again, like Supervisor said, we felt our hand was being forced because we only had one real option to go with, and do we try and force them to go another year and extend, and that wasn't an option. We knew we'd have to make the jump eventually. So we did what we thought was best for the town, and we apologize for it being struggle going beyond that, but we all will continue to work and try and resolve the issues for every one of you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Town Clerk's report for July 2022 has been submitted to the Supervisor's office. We are busy in the Town Clerk's office right now with hunting licenses. The sale started on August 1st. So far, we've had 76 licenses sold for the month already. So if you come in for your hunting, your fishing, your doe tags, please provide your current ID, and cash and check are accepted for payment. The deer management permit or the doe permit deadline is October 1st. My office is not open October 1st. That's a Saturday, so please come in by Friday, September 30th. That will be the last day to purchase in my office. The Connect Life Blood Drive, that was August 2nd, collected 18 units, which helped save 54 local patients. Oktoberfest 2022, the Boston Lions Club is hosting that. That is August 27th. That is a Saturday, starting at 2 p.m. under the Lion Shelter right here in the park. The tickets are only $20, and that is for, you get the traditional German meal of bratwurst, sauerkraut, and German potato salad. Comes with 2 beers and a German band. Tickets are available at Three Girls Cafe, the Colden Market, or from any Lions Club member. What was discussed tonight regarding the voting is here in the community room. That is, the early voting is going on right now until August 21st. There will be no voting on August 22nd with the primary election, which is August 23rd. And the Boys and Girls Club movie night is Wednesday, August 31st, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And the movie will be posted on the Boys and Girls website as that date gets closer. So, and yes, my office has been very busy with this changeover with the totes from Waste Management, but we have gotten to speak to many residents in town, in person and on the phone. And, hopefully I have been somewhat helpful to accommodate in ways that I am able to with the constraints with Waste Management. My office will, certainly always listen, and hopefully we did a good job and let Supervisor Keating maybe get his feet back on the ground a little bit while he was gone. We wanted to take care of the calls so he wasn't bombarded, and his office staff wasn't bombarded quite so much with phone calls. And that is all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So I'll do a follow-up. It's been a little while since, maybe getting a little butt since there's so many of you here. This is probably might be news for some of you. The Rice Road slide has been talked about at town board meetings for quite some time. The good news is I have been made aware that that situation has been finally resolved. That was a legal matter. There's a right-of-way matter of opinion and dispute on what should and should not be done there. Really, that's what's held this up. At the last previous board meeting, I had reported that it was not for lack of the county trying to get the Rice Road slide resolved and that area fixed. And for those that might not be aware of the situation, Back Creek Road down by Rice Hill has been down for up to one lane for over 4 years. Actually, that's something that happened when I first came in as supervisor. We're still dealing with it. Sadly, we're giving up birthdays. But anyway, the moral of the story is that there's some lengthy conversations that turn into legal situations. That has all been resolved, and the intent is that that area will be repaired before the end of the year. I think that's a pretty aggressive timeline, but again, that's again from Erie County's mouth through to my ears and then back out my mouth to all of you. So hopefully that will be resolved this year. I've been working with Commissioner Geary and Deputy Commissioner Hoke at Erie County. If anything changes, I'll be as always, and I promised, I'll be sure to let the public know what's going on in that area. Hopefully we can get that resolved sooner than later. Erie County dining menu, the new menus are out on the town website. The summer concert series has only 2 more shows. We've actually had a great turnout this year. We keep hearing great things about that program. We can't thank ASI, the cultural grants that the town receives, enough for their support. That's a really big driving force of what makes that program happen. So thank you, Arts and Services Institute, for their funding. It is budget season for the town board, so actually this week, my office and the bookkeeper's office will be submitting the budget worksheets to all department heads, and we'll be getting in the budget season. Bless you. Downstairs, the community room received, for anyone that has not heard this already previously, but the town has secured a grant funding, community development block grant funding, which is essentially like HUD funds. And those funds were utilized to replace the old original heating and cooling system, which was just, it got old. It was old and antiquated, wasn't cooling properly, wasn't heating properly. So now, if you remember the old condensing units that were along the backside of the building, those are gone. We're in the process of putting some new grass seed down, cleaning that area up. There's new units on the backside of the community room wall. And then now there are 4 units that go into that room to balance out that heating and cooling. So hopefully both of our large senior groups that meet on Fridays, so it's a bi-weekly program. If you're interested, feel free to go join them. And also our congregate dining program. They have a decent climate and controlled room compared to some very old antiquated units that were there. Informing the town board, there's a few small minor things. It's more cosmetic and some wiring that needs to be done, but for the most part that project is done. So it's a nice improvement to our town hall. I did want to follow up, following up on the town clerk's remark regarding welcome back. I was actually on vacation, but when I was away, there were some concerns regarding the NFTA and the bus route here in Boston. I've spoken with the director with NFTA multiple times on this, and the NFTA had made a decision to eliminate the bus stop down at the Park and Ride down next to the Sunoco across from CVS. And the reason being to that, at least from what they're telling the town, is that it was due to lack of ridership. They said that when they looked at their reports, there's very small ridership, and they kind of like what we, and I'm not trying to defer here, but cost of fuel, cost of labor, trying to get people to even truthfully show up to work, it was just a tough decision for them to make. So we were one of many routes that sadly that were cut. If ridership increases, they have said that they would consider restoring that, but at least as of right now, until Boston residents report to NFTA directly or call them saying, please restore this. At least as of this conversation right here tonight, you're hearing it directly from me, there's not an intent to restore that bus route. So if community members are interested, or you know somebody who used to use that for a service, please encourage them to call the NFTA. There's a post out on the Town of Boston Government Facebook page that the NFTA did respond with their phone number. I will report, I made that phone call today. They're in the actually a few week time from when they made the decision till tonight, there's been 0 phone calls. So I guess we have ghosts, maybe. So that is the update on the NFTA. If I hear any more, I will be sure to report back at a future board meeting. Fire contracts are also up. So Councilman Cartacini and I will be working with the fire companies to discuss their contracts. So those meetings have been underway and will continue until those contracts are completed and negotiated. And then actually that's really all I have. I know I answered a lot of questions tonight on the solid waste management side of things. Again, as my fellow board members have said, if there's anything we can do to help, that's what we're here for. Now, we have spent, Councilwoman Selby, she spent quite a bit of time, she stayed out on site with the representative from Waste Management on site, trying to resolve some of the issues, especially larger areas, Butternut, by Mr. Quinlan's property, and others. We're trying to create resolve for these. And again, we as a town board, we really have put a lot of time into this. I know it seems like this all happened quickly, but this really was many months of discussion. And if you look at the bid process and the bid packet that went out to Waste Management over 3 years ago, all of those alternates were taken into effect because we kind of knew the storm was, in some way, shape, or form on the horizon, which is why earlier when I stated that we brought in the carts or cans, as some people call them, depends on who you talk to, potato, but that we brought in carts here and left them in the hallway for the public to see. We did Scouts Honor, we did put notice out on the town website and social media. We realize that not everybody is on that, but we did try to inform the public that this was kind of a conversation was coming, because it really was, as Councilman Cartacini stated, we kind of knew that it was just a matter of when. It was very difficult to, I guess I'll say, resist the transition from going from putting either a bag or your own privately owned trash can out versus going to a tote. It's the industry, and I won't get into all the semantics. If anyone wants to talk to me after the meeting, I'm happy to spend as much time as you need or want. But I will say, Waste Management is one of many companies that are also having hiring problems, as Councilman Cardicini stated. It's just the environment we're in. I can't believe it probably as much as some of you can, but it is a one-person, if you haven't already heard, it is a one-person operated truck. There is an arm that goes out, so please, when you do use the new carts, push them so that little gray bar is facing the road, and the handles, or the easiest way to remember it, the handles are pointing back towards your house, so the arm could go out and grab them. But some of the cost savings, this is another call that myself and my office has kind of fielded here. The cost savings comes in from the one operator in a truck, not two, not that all routes had two, but one operator in a truck, an automated system, and then going with carts because it is more efficient. Instead of having 5 days of collection, it goes down to 4. There's a whole bunch of other information. Again, I can kind of talk forever on this topic. We really have spent a lot of time on this. I'm happy to share the information with all of you. We will try to work on resolve to the concerns of the taxpayer. That's what we're here for. We're not trying, we're not trying to not hear you. There's certain limitations in the contract. The way the contract's lit, there's things that we can do and there's things we can't. If there's something we can do, and Waste Management has been very receptive to Councilwoman Selby and also my office. If there's something we can do so far, knock on wood, it's actually been happening. So I'm really optimistic and hopeful that continues. But again, please feel free to call my office. Thank you, Town Clerk, for all your phone calls. Try to alleviate some of the phone calls from your office as well, as I know they field many. But that is all I have. And again, at the end of the meeting, I'm happy to stick around and chat with anybody that would like to, pick my ear or want to discuss this anymore. With that being said, I'll make a motion to end the meeting at 8:43 p.m.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried. Adjourned.